again, applying today some algebra concepts to some geometry concepts with the coordinate plane. This chapter's on coordinate geometry, so again, reviewing a little bit of our math from Algebra 1 and mixing in a little of what we learned about quadrilaterals or polygons from geometry. So, parallel versus perpendicular, what do you notice about the two lines given? The slopes about these lines. So let's find the slope of this line. So line A has a slope of 4 over 2, which would be 2 over 1. Line B has a slope of 4 over 2 again, so 2 over 1. So we could say if the lines are parallel, they have the same slope. Let's see what happens with perpendicular lines. Here would be a point, here's a point, so we'll say line A has a slope of 4 over 2 again, which reduces to 2 over 1. This should be line B, it got cut off on the picture. Line B will say, go from that point to this point, it goes down to over 4. That would be down to over 4. That reduces to negative 1/2. So perpendicular lines don't have the same slope, so what do you think it's called when we flip something? When you flip something, they call it reciprocal. And you notice one is positive and one is negative. So these slopes are opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals mean that it is flipped. The fraction would be flipped, and one is positive and one is negative. So if you ever have a whole number like 4 divided by 2 is 2, well, just remember to put 2 over 1 to make a number into a fraction, so when you flip it, it becomes 1 over 2. Alright, find the slope on this example and identify if the following lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither to this given equation. So here's our slope. Here's our slope. So we were comparing it to 1/2. So this is negative 1/2 and that's positive 1/2, so that's neither situation. This one I don't have y by itself yet, so I'm going to subtract 2x to the other side. So now my slope is negative 2, and remember to make that a fraction, we put it over 1. So negative 2 over 1 compared to 1 over 2, well, they are flipped, and they are opposite. So opposite and flipped means they are perpendicular. I'm going to go back up here for a second and write the symbol for parallel, so you don't want to write out the words, was 2 lines like that. That means parallel. That's the parallel symbol. And the symbol for perpendicular was an upside down T. Just so when I'm writing in these small boxes, I can just write this for parallel and that for perpendicular. Alright, so we said this one is opposite and reciprocal, so I'm going to say this one is perpendicular. Okay. This one, they give us 2 points. Well, to find the slope of 2 points, you have to use the slope formula. So we're going to take, this is your x1, your y1, x2, and y2. The slope formula is on the reference sheet, but we can do 3 minus 1 over 10 minus 6. I get 2 over 4, which equals 1/2. Now look to what we're comparing to. This was 1/2, this is 1/2. If they have the same slopes, then we can say those lines are parallel. They are parallel because they have the same slope. Alright, last one here. We're going to find the slope using the same slope formula. On top we have 7 minus a negative 5, so I'll put plus, and 8 minus 2. 12 divided by 6 equals 2, or 2 over 1. So it looks like this is a reciprocal. They are flipped, but they're the same side. So they're not considered opposite because they're both positive. They're not opposite of each other. So this is a neither. Okay, so comparing how to get y by itself, how to use the slope formula, and then compare your slopes to determine if they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay. This one says, write the equation of a line that goes through the following point and is parallel or perpendicular to the line. It'll be specific in the question. Your equation should be in slope-intercept form when you're done. So this one starts off, we want to find something perpendicular to this line. So this one has a slope of -2. We can put that over 1 to make it a fraction. The perpendicular slope for that, remember, is opposite reciprocal. So it's going to be 1 over 2. You flip it, and you have to change the sign. So this is our new slope that we're going to use. To start, we have a point and we have a slope, so we're going to do point-slope form. This is your point-slope form. Alright, it's x minus x1. Got carried away there. So this is your x1 and your y1. So I'm going to do y minus 8. The perpendicular slope is 1/2. And then x minus 4. Once you have it in your point-slope form, to get rid of parentheses, we're going to distribute the 1/2. Equals 1/2 x minus 2. And then I need to add 8 to the other side to get y by itself, because it says they want the answer in slope-intercept form. So y equals 1/2 x plus 6. This line is perpendicular to that line if it goes through that point. I'd pause the video, try the next one on your own. Pay attention to what it says though. This one was perpendicular. This one is parallel. So that one has a slope of 1/3. Parallel has the same slope, so it will also be 1/3. So we're going to take our point-slope form. I'll write it again since I kind of messed up. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We'll plug in our point. We have y minus 7 is 1/3 times x. We have minus, it looks like a -3, so 2 negatives make +3 there. So that's our point slope. We're going to distribute to get y by itself. So y minus 7 equals 1/3 x plus 1/3 of 3 is just 1. And I'll add my 7 to the other side. My answer is y equals 1/3 x plus 8. So pay attention even on the test or the quiz with these. It'll tell you what kind of slope you need to fix it to be. Sometimes if it's parallel, it's the same slope. If it's perpendicular, you have to flip it and do the opposite. Alright, so this is another review topic we did earlier this year, distance formula. We have practiced this one a whole lot. It's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Midpoint formula was a big fraction. You x1 plus x2, and then you divide it by 2. That gets your x value of the midpoint. And you do your y1 plus your y2 and divide it by 2. That gets your y coordinate of the midpoint. Alright, so school is located at point 2-1. The grocery store is located 3 blocks west and 3 blocks north. So just a reference here. This is north, east, southwest. Okay, so think about that as your coordinate plane. If you're at the point 2, 1, and you're going to go 3 blocks west. So say we're here and we're going west, that's going to subtract 3 from that value. Then 3 blocks north. If you go north, you're going up, so you're going to add 3 to that value. So this ordered pair now is -1, 4. So this is my grocery store coordinates. How far apart are these two things, the school and the grocery store? So how far apart is distance. We're going to find the distance between these 2 points. So my x's go together first, so -1 minus 2 squared. I'm going to do my y's, so 4 minus 1 squared. This gives me -3 squared plus 3 squared. I'm just kind of write that over here. So we have square root, that's 9 plus 9, which is square root of 18. Let me double check here for a second how it's cast on the homework to see if they want you to simplify that or if we have to it does say how far needs to be in exact answer radical form. So radical form means I need to take 18 and simplify it. So if you guys remember, square root of 18 breaks down to 9 times 2. So I'm going to say that would be 3 square root of 2. So that would be my simplified version of that. So it says on the homework you need to write an exact value for that distance. If the library is halfway between the school and the grocery store, got the word grocery store, find the coordinates of the library. So the library is the halfway point. So this is your x. I'm going to do 2 plus -1 divided by 2. Then I'm going to do the y's, which would be 1 plus 4 divided by 2. So my x values come out to 1 over 2. And my y value came out to 5 over 2. And you can leave them in fraction form or you can reduce them. But that would be my midpoint. Halfway is midpoint. Which I know we did that a long time ago, but Emos is located at 3-2 with a delivery radius of 8 miles. Is 510 in the delivery area? So a delivery radius is referring to a circle. You guys remember doing those? So we want to find the distance between these two and see if it comes out to less than 8 or more than 8. So we're going to use our distance formula. So delivery area, so we'll do 5 minus 3 squared plus 10 minus 2 squared. That's 2 squared plus 8 squared. 4 plus 64 equals square root of 68. So I'm going to need to square root 68. It's got to be over 8, I'm sure. It's bigger than 64. So that's about 8.2. And it says they deliver 8 miles, so the answer would be no. That is not in the delivery radius. We're just outside the delivery radius.